obviously. Because like back in the day, I think xQc was interested in hearing about different perspectives that he wasn't privy to. Like he would totally be down to talk to a person like Alex Press, but his brain has just been fucking melted over the last couple of years of booking over and over again. You know what I mean? And going to kick and shit. So whenever he tries to make forays into politics, like every now and then he'll have like a good take. Back in the day, he used to have a lot more good takes overall because I think he led by empathy and charitability and trying to understand like where people were coming from. Oh my God. Oh my God. This one banged. What the fuck? Trump bombed Syria, Yemen, Afghanistan, and Iraq during his presidency, and here's you wearing a Trump shirt shaking Trump's hand. God damn, what a fucking abysmal ratio for the juicer. Juicer got 16K off this. Haas Twitter on top. That's crazy. That's crazy. Anyway, listen, like I said, I just wish, because I saw a tweet from someone earlier today about Ethan, and I forgot that like we've had so many conversations in terms of like charitability. I think this is a great example of this. Okay, this is not drama. Okay, don't freak out. Don't get into like drama shit. But someone posted this morning and I saw it on a 2020 episode of his podcast. Ethan Klein agreed with the same analysis of 9/11 that he's been attacking Comrade Casey Frogan and Real Wowmouth over in recent months. It's kind of depressing to see how open-minded he once was, given how reactionary he's become. And like, this is like, whenever I see older content from people that I was friends with or people that I used to interact with, it is kind of sad to see like where they're at now in terms of like what they're. Ben Shapiro retweeted this. It's not a joke. What is this? They're hitting Luigi with terrorism charges. Oh, brother. After thorough research, I found this. Are there any civilians harmed by Luigi? Yeah, the dude who got murdered, dumbass. You extended infinite charity to that guy is sad. No, because like, dude, it's not me extending charity to people. It's charity being extended to me, okay? That's what it is. Like, that's what this is about. Like, I'm always going to be charitable across the board, no matter what. But here, look at this. Just listen to this fucking 4-minute video really quickly and then interpret it whichever way you want. But this is the first interaction that I ever had with Ethan Klein. This interaction was so positive that it led us to literally make the podcast Leftovers together.
Incredible. It's actually incredible that this was the ending sequence of Rambo 3. It says this film is dedicated to the...
Stop covering drama, man. Man, shut the fuck up. This is not fucking drama. Take a week off, okay? This is a much larger, much broader point, okay? A lot of people look at this and they go, oh my God, Ethan Klein on screen. This is drama. It's not, okay? I am not covering drama. This is not to like finger wag at Ethan. This is not to be like, look at how hypocritical he is. This is a much broader point that I'm trying to make, which is that like there was a point where a lot of people from xQc all the way to Ethan Klein that were infinitely more charitable, infinitely more understanding, and trying to figure out the world and not just fucking immediately reacting back with negativity.
Brave Mujahideen fighters, and these guys were the guys. Tell me about the legacy of the Mujahideen fighters.
You're not saying
So
you're right.
they are.
Yeah, this was not real, by the way. The VHS, this is not a real flick, or rather, the movie is real, but this part was not real. This was edited. It's a Berenstein's Bears moment.
They're fighter troops in the region, and they were fighting against the USSR at the time, and that's why we armed them, because we needed them to fight against the USSR in the region in the Cold War era.
Yeah.
And then some of them became more. Some of them decided, well, America is bombing the shit out of us too. Well, fuck them. And the simplest way to describe it is that they, much like ISIS and every single other militant faction, formed more radical and anti-Western militant factions with American training and American arms, and then started fighting America.
So it's kind of a beautiful irony, isn't it? So that's why that's what you meant when you said the brave fighters.
Yeah, and it would be ironic if after like the 7th oopsie, you got to recognize that it's probably just being done deliberately so that you can justify further engagement in the region and further destabilization in the region, because it keeps happening. We keep arming a certain sect or a certain militant group, and this happens in Latin American countries as well. We arm a certain group.
The mic is not terrible. It's just that it has a different condenser and a, like, I just had different settings, different sound settings, man. Just stop focusing on that.
That group becomes even more violent. There's even more destabilization, especially after like bombing campaigns or sanctions that kill hundreds of thousands of people, like in Iraq. And then that militant group is like, well, now it's our territory. We can just take over and do whatever the fuck we want.
Yeah, I mean,
and they get even more radical.
What happens when you give the craziest people military weapons and training, and then just let them do their thing? I mean,
in a lot of instances, it's not even directly a consequence of their like ideology or Islam or whatever. It's literally that they just have no other options. If you grew up in Iraq and your entire country is bombed in the shit, your infrastructure is eviscerated, you have no future opportunities, you have no options, and your family members have been killed, then they feel like, well, this guy who is a little bit crazy, definitely real crazy, preaching all this hatred towards America, maybe he has some good ideas. And that's how a lot of people find themselves at the precipice of radicalization. Like Taliban increased its numbers and influence in Afghanistan after the American invasion, which of course is not that surprising. And that is despite the fact that the American forces there killed a fuckload of members, and yet their ranks are stronger than ever. And now America is negotiating with them as a legitimate entity in the country. Like they are a powerful and legitimate force now, almost directly as a consequence of American imperialism.
The reason why I'm pointing this out is not to be like, look at Ethan, look at how much his attitude has changed. I think it's important to recognize how this change occurs. This is from 2020. This is the first interaction I've ever had with him. When he's interpreting what I have to say charitably, what I'm saying right here is no different than my analysis over October 7, my analysis revolving around Hezbollah, my analysis revolving around the Ansar Allah movement in Yemen. Okay? Nothing is different. It is virtually identical, 1-to-1. Okay? Because the fundamentals are the same. They have not changed. The players or the people, the militant factions might have some of them are from different backgrounds, some of them are Shia, some of them are Sunni, but the analysis is still the same, like how people are motivated, the way I see the world, right? The way I view the world, the way I interpret political conflict, global conflict, foreign policy, it's all the same. So my commentary has not changed at all. And I think that the issue is a lot of people will always say, Hasan, you've changed. You've become a different person. You've become significantly more radical. And it's like, no, I have not. And you just have to remind yourself that, like, I think the most significant component here is just charitability.
Imperialism and destabilization in the region.
How many Iraqis died in that George Bush war?
Chad is blind to analysis. They love good versus bad dynamic. You dogpiling on Ethan is what they crave. You explaining the situation and helping others understand your vision of empathy and charitability is annoying for them because they refuse to learn. Exactly. This is a very annoying part in the way that this community operates as well. The people that claim that they didn't know you had certain positions are disingenuous. You are one of the most consistent, stubborn, and message-focused people I've ever seen. If they claim they didn't know what you believed, they're either lying or weren't really listening. Yeah. Or the third thing, they were listening, but they weren't really paying a lot of attention, or they didn't have other underlying biases, or they weren't fucking primed by a drama farming YouTuber with no political background whatsoever, like a fucking Willie Mack show or any number of different like Keemstar orbiters. You know what I mean?
I'm not sure about the exact number that's always in contention, but paired up with like Bill Clinton era onward sanctions, like the immediate sanctions were I think 500,000, but I'm not entirely sure. They say to the tune of millions.
That's crazy.
In Iran.
Yeah, like you don't understand that.
Yeah.
Like millions of people died from that. Of course, they're gonna be pissed off. I mean, what the fuck? That's crazy. Incredible.
So yeah, doing fun stuff is good because that's how I discovered you, reacting to the button dating stuff. Yeah. So I just wanted to point to this, and there are a million examples just like this one where I am advocating very consistently for these same exact values, and my analysis comes from recognizing the humanity of every single person. Okay? In this conversation, I'm quite literally pointing to a radicalization for members like ISIS militants, Daesh, and Al-Qaeda, like where their point of radicalization is. This does not mean that I'm pro-ISIS. Under no circumstances does anyone think I'm pro-ISIS. And not only that, but also I'm quite literally explaining like people who have done harm to America as an American citizen. So if I have this interpretation for America as an American citizen, okay, if I can offer this level of analysis for people who would kill me if given the opportunity with ease, okay, then why is it so hard to offer this same exact critical examination to other militant factions in this region? Militant factions that do not have imperial ambitions in mind in the same way that ISIS did.